So back in 2016, I ordered one of these flight decks. Now hopefully you've seen that commercial where the car runs over the middle of the Powell flight deck and literally bounces right back. So I went online, I ordered the 244 8.5 Powell Flight. This is the 2016 one. It's one of the first ones that came out. The 244 has a rounder nose than the 249, and that's the only difference. They're pretty much the same concave. Pretty much the same experience, except the nose on the 249 is going to be a little like narrower, just a little, for more street stuff. The 244 I would say is a little bit better for transition. So if you're like me and you're skating bowls, mini ramps, vert ramps, and just kind of cruising around, the 244 is where it's at. This board never lost its pop. If you look at the tail, it did razor tail a little quicker than my other skateboards, but then I learned that razor tail doesn't mean anything. It razor tailed within the first 2 months, and I had this board for a year. The pop never went away. This board has been run over before. In skateboarding, when a company announces that they want to progress the sport with new technology, they have to deal with a large amount of criticism. Why? Because people are afraid of change. But Powell's entire foundation is based on progression. They were prepared for the naysayers. When you combine the light poppiness of this board and then you have this suction cup concave, it's like designed to stick to your feet. I'll never forget it. I brought this deck to my friend James's house when I first got it. It was still wrapped in the cellophane, and I put it on his floor, and his eyes lit up. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, look at the concave on that thing. It's beautiful. And I was like, looking at it, I never thought about it until he said that. Until he told me about concave, I just didn't really know what it was. But ever since then, I've been obsessed with concave. So I've been searching for skateboards and skating tons of different decks, and nothing has come close to the K20 concave on this flight deck. For an 8.5, I would say that this is the best 8.5 in the game. The 244 8.5 Powell Flight Deck. It's like pressed in the middle, and it rises on the sides. So the concave of the board is the rising of the sides going up to the nose and then stopping at the nose. That's the concave. Ready? How deep the skateboard is the concave. So the raised sides kind of allow you to dig your foot onto the side of the board and just kind of hug the skateboard with your feet. It feels really good. In case you're wondering how I got this, basically on week 2 of skating this, the skateboard flipped over and I kicked it over and it was like this on its own. And what's really interesting is there was no remains under it. So that grip tape that's missing and that little section that's missing has never been seen to this day. This board can be run over. I know they did it in a test for video, but this actually happened to me while I was up in Maine bombing hills.
Okay, wait, what about the door? How are we gonna close the door after? Are you out of battery? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Whoa!
But I skated it for another 6 months, so that's cool. So after skating this thing for a year, I decided to get another skateboard. Had to go with another flight deck. Went with the Steve Caballero 192 K15 concave. Super thin, super light. I mean, this thing is just beautiful.